All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 2 of season 6 of the Swain Valley League. I am AJS0, joined here with 30 for the first time this season, and the fact that it took a whole week, I kind of feel bad about. So let's make things right, and we're going to cast 2 games tonight. 30, how you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome. And I guess while we're waiting to get into the draft for this first game, Team Salt Shaker versus Thomas the Dank Engine, maybe we'll talk about week 1 real fast. So we played 3 games last week. I think it's safe to say that you and I would probably both agree that 3-team seasons are already over.
Yep, that would be a safe assumption.
Yes, as we know, no team has ever come back from an 0-1 start in this league to win a single game.
Yep.
So this game, definitely some stomp potential here. Thomas the Dank Engine on the right on purple team is going to be without Thrifty Senpai this week. He is moving and unable to play, so they are subbing in Lock him down, and most likely going to have to do some role swapping because Lockham's top lane and jungle player, and obviously Devout Milk and On the Wind are already there. So I'm expecting to see something unexpected in the mid lane. Not sure who it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone on the team really specializes in mid play. I mean, I know Salvo's a jack of all trades, but I think your best bet is to really just keep him on ADC.
The thing that scares me the most about this team is that they have no shot caller.
Without Thrifty, yeah, they might just crumble to shambles. So with Thrifty gone, do you think this is an easy win for Team Salt Shaker?
It should be. This is definitely the kind of game where if you're Team Salt Shaker, you're thinking to yourself, all right, guys, let's prove that we can stomp out a team that's lower ranked than us. And if they can't do it, but they still, like, if they pull out a messy win, they can say to themselves, all right, guys, we got lucky. We know what we need to work on for next week. And if they do manage to lose, well, they can panic if they'd like. I would.
Yeah. All right, so we're into the pick and ban phase of game 1.
And another thing that's going to really be rough for this team is Thrifty Senpai always draws some ban pressure. Now it's going to be other players' specialized picks. You know, maybe we're going to see Salvo's Jinx get taken away. On the Wind's Nar going first overall. Oh my god, this stream overlay. I want to give a shout out to our good friend Cursor Hoke, aka Paran, aka Arkadievich, aka Verzaihung, aka a bunch of other Russian Tsar names for danking us up with some epic memes for a new overlay.
Oh yes,
So,
these are very nice.
This is Swain Batty League at its finest.
So you were saying like what's the bans look like for Team Salt Shaker with Thrifty gone? Well, it looks like they're just going to take away power picks. I mean, I know Nar's pretty good in the hands of On the Wind, but Gragas and Elsa are just generally really powerful picks right now. Mel can play most meta junglers, and then last week Zaku played an immaculate Alistar, so that's a pretty good ban.
Yes, it's crazy how fast things can turn. Last season, by the end of last season's, almost everyone was in agreement that Zaku's Leona was a must ban because he just wasn't as good at anything else. And after 1 week of the new season, he's already gotten his Alistar ban instead, which keeps his Leona taken away first pick overall.
Yeah. So I was probably going to default him to something like Janna, maybe something passive. I know he did play Thresh last season, at least 2 games, so you might throw that one out there. Thomas the Dank Engine, obviously Salvo on his favorite and best ADC, Jinx, and lock him down picking a very conservative but also very strong Maokai. Obviously that's probably going to On the Wind for the top lane.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Maokai. If you're going to pick Jinx, Maokai's just such a great pick. Because, you know, when your AD carries Salvo, and he's playing Jinx, you probably want to keep him alive.
Yep. Yeah, and that might be the whole comp here that they're going to build around him. Salvo's done it before, and he's very comfortable on being put into that hyper carry position and just sort of farming it out and get into that late game.
So, speaking of playing sub players, something we didn't mention, Team Saltshaker is actually playing a sub as well this week. K-King is unavailable this week, as he is currently in Spain. I believe he landed in Barcelona about 12 hours ago. And they're playing Michirugi, which I had completely forgotten about.
Yeah. Okay, so Michirugi will most likely be stepping into that ADC role?
Well, I think it could go either way. Keinhosen played mid last week, but he's obviously very good at AD carry. And Mitch, I believe, is comfortable at support and mid lane, most of all. So we might see Keinhosen go AD carry and Michirugi play mid lane.
Okay. Yeah, no, that would make sense. Callista was picked for Saltshaker, and he played Callista quite a bit last season, but obviously she was at a much stronger point. The last nerf kind of hit her play rate wise, but she still has a very good win rate in competitive, pretty much globally.
Have the pro teams played on the patch where Callista's nerfed yet?
Oh, was she nerfed in 5.13 or 5.14?
I thought it was 5.14. I thought they hadn't.
Oh, then that would make sense. Yep. So she had a very good win rate in 5.13. So maybe those nerfs did hit her a little too hard, but we see her picked here. Scotchnaut picked Kale. Assume that's going to be a jungle Kale. Very strong right now with the Devourer.
Definitely going to Master Splinter. Going back to the bans that Thomas the Dank Engine threw out, 3 bans on the Master Splinter, and they didn't take away Kale. I do not like that at all. Shyvana and Kale are both going to get Master Splinter that same chance to just hard carry. And I've seen him have some just disgusting games with that Kale already.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of strong Devourer junglers right now, but they only opted to ban one of them, Shyvana, who most people consider the absolute strongest, sort of the god tier of the Devourers. But then they took out Evelynn and Hecarim. Hecarim jungle, I don't know if it's something you should be banning. I know Splinter's always main jungle Hecarim, but like you said, they leave up Kale, and I've seen him play Kale. It's going to be very annoying to play against.
And the thing is, Master Splinter is almost always going to go for a power pick over to Hecarim. Unless you manage to ban away 3 power picks, and it's on like a strange patch, those are usually the situations where he goes for Hecarim. But when we just see these random early season Hecarim bans, I just don't think they're that smart.
I agree. Zaku, yeah, like I said, went with the Janna pick. Melk gonna lock in jungle Nidalee, so it'll be fun to watch him and see how he performs on Nidalee. She's a sort of a mechanically intensive jungler, but I mean, she can really snowball the game with some good ganks early on.
Yeah, I've seen Devout Milk have some very good games on Italy in the past. And with the last pick, we are actually going to get an Echo lock-in. So I think that is going to be on the win playing mid lane Echo. Which
that is true.
One of his most played champions of the past since Echo came out, mostly in the top lane. But I mean, you can play a champ in one lane, you can do a decent job of transitioning to another. And that'll let Lockham play one of his most comfortable champions in a position he's a lot more comfortable with.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. On the other side, Saltshaker, they round out their comp to make this pretty obvious protect the ADC comp. You got Scotchnaut and Shen top lane and Michirugi in the mid lane with Cho'Gath. Kainos and Callista Leona. Very lane he's very familiar with from me last season because I played a lot of Leona, but man, that is a tanky lineup if I've seen one.
And I think that's exactly what Master Splinter wants. His team is super tanky, and he gets to play a high damage carry threat. Because that's the best thing about this combo to Team Saltshaker, is if they play well, they don't just have one carry to protect, they have 2, with Kale being the second one, obviously.
Yeah, no, I like that too. I really like Saltshaker's comp on paper right now. It'll be one thing to actually get into the game and execute it.
So how do you feel about Thomas the Dank Engine's comp? Because I don't like that one quite as much.
No, see, I was about to reference that. Yeah, see, on paper, there's an idea going into it for Saltshaker. It's like they thought this one out. They thought this like before Champ Select. They're like, okay, let's do this, build this comp. Thomas the Dank Engine, I think that's just a bunch of comfort picks. I don't see the comp it's almost like counterintuitive with the Janna and the Maokai. And it's not even a protect the ADC comp too, because you have things like Nidalee and Echo who are trying to find the carries on
Yeah,
the enemy team.
they had an identity, and then they picked Nidalee and Echo.
Yep. But I mean, in solo queue, sometimes it doesn't matter if your comp's better. The team that got the comfort picks and the ones that are going to snowball the lanes, they might win. So both, Thomas Tank Inchin and the Salt Shaker both won their games respectively last week, right?
Yes, they did, with
All
their
right.
starting lineups.
So yeah, and so this game, both are playing a sub, both a man down, both 1-0. We're gonna maybe once again try to figure out the power rankings and into week 2, who's the stronger team so far. You know, asterisk at the end though, they don't have some of their starting players.
Yeah, every season I always kind of get excited for these heavyweight matchups between Master Splinter and Thrifty Senpai, and there's a chance that we might only get one of those this season now.
Yeah, that's very true.
So another pick I want to talk about for a bit here as a power pick is A Million Babies Leona. I think a lot of people forget about this one because he didn't play much, if any, support last season, and he didn't start all season because of how his team played out. But back when he was playing support for his teams, his Leona was almost always a pick or ban away from opposing teams.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, he was a master of Leona, and he was very, very dominant in lane with it, and transitioned into the big game very well.
That's something I feel like I haven't seen in a while, but Leona can be very, very difficult for Jinx to handle if Kainosen and Babies play this well.
Luckily, Zaku picked a good support to counter it, though. Janna versus Leona is a very good pick. You can Howling Gale pretty much every engage when Leona Zenith blades in.
So this will be the week where we see if Zaku really has stepped up to the next level or not.
Yep, that because we saw him last week play sort of the tanky initiator Alistar. He initiated so many good fights on Alistar, but you're gonna want to be doing the opposite on Janna. So we're gonna see how he plays the different styles. Looking at Runes Masters, I don't see anything too crazy, nothing too out of the blue here. Just a note, Million Babies Leona is obviously a play a lot of support. He went Magic Pen Red, all reds Magic Pen, and then the gold per second quints. So, not the standard, but I'm sure he plays it the way he wants to play it. All right, and we're in. So, champions are out of the gate. Think you're gonna see any level 1 action, Swift?
If we do, I expect it to be out of Team Salt Shaker. I just don't think anyone on Thomas the Tank Engine is going to have the balls to call a crazy level 1 play.
I agree.
And here we go. 5 men going to go find on the wins. They're going to find Devout Milk.
Wow, that was a really good time winder, hitting 3 people with it, and Milk was on the side, hit someone with the spear, so they saw the invade coming, and they will defend against it.
And it's ultimately just a little vision down for free. We'll see if they manage to get anything out of it. Unlike professional players, I don't think Swain League teams are normally very good at doing a whole lot with that early vision.
No, and I'm just excited to see when in the season we're going to see a lane swap, if ever.
Well, I think the problem is we're all Americans. We watch the NALCS where they lane swap more than every other region in the world. It's gonna rub off on us eventually. It has to, right?
I would imagine so, but there's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of things you have to learn and master in the lane swap, especially double jungling on how to share XP, who gets the gold, how to freeze minion waves. Like, these are some advanced tactics some of these players just don't even know about.
I would say most of these players.
Yeah. Like,
It's
I'll go with that assumption.
every season I always say to myself, I'm going to be the team this season that just practices land swap every game, and by 2/3 of the way through the season, we're going to be pretty good at it, and we're going to be able to just cheese win our games off of land swaps. And I never do it because I like to 2v2 people too much.
Yeah, right? I am the same way, man. I live and die with a 2v2.
So if there's anyone out there watching that doesn't like the 2v2 and your top laner doesn't like the 1v1, start land swapping.
Yeah,
every game you practice.
Oh, yeah. So Master Splinter, he's doing his right here, but he saw Melk ward over, so Splinter had to get off it for a second, and it leashed back and healed up. So Melk trying to apply the pressure early on, trying to abuse Kale before she hits 6. And then lock him down, he did the Wraiths, the Razor Beaks early on, so and then he went back into lane. He actually teleported up there, so already a little early teleport advantage for Team Saltshaker. Yeah, pretty standard thing so far.
Yeah, teleport advantage shouldn't be too major. It's pretty rare you're going to be using that too early. And especially when you're up against Master Splinter, getting that early ward down, he has that ward placed at 315. You don't want to be playing with Fog of War versus Master Splinter. Yep. It doesn't matter if he's playing a power farmer. The number of times I've seen him level 3, level 4 on farm champs and get kills is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, pretty even CS in so far. Scotchnaut taking sort of a slight 6 CS lead over Lock 'em Down. Lock 'em Down is their sub, so I don't know if he plays as regularly.
Lock 'em Down. If he's able to get most of this under his tower, they should only be 2, maybe 3 apart. Although, of course, sometimes that's getting it all under your tower is a pretty big if.
Yeah. I mean, Maokai was a pretty good CS though under tower. He has a lot of abilities to aid him in that, but it's a strategy when you push hard into tower against some champions who are bad against it. You could, make the enemy lose some CS. On the wind, he's below half health right now, and he's sort of idling in the middle of the lane. Master Splinter's coming through the mid lane. The W is active. On the wind, has to try to use his E to get out of here, but he's slowed by that red buff. Oh, Mitsurugi just missing the rupture, but that's all right. Master Splinter's going to flash the wall too. Kill goes over to Mitsurugi. First blood. Yeah, I think that was just a little overextension by On the Wind there. There's really no reason for him to be up there. He pushed the wave just a little too far past that midpoint, and Master Splinter, being the good jungler he is, abused that fact. Million Babies went in, hit the Zenith Blade, but Zaku with a good Howling Gale to disengage though. Salvo Flash, but Kai knows and is going to pick up the last hit. And already an early 2-kill lead for Team Saltshaker so far. Like I said in the champ select, I don't know if this is very good that Thomas the Tank Engine's comp gets behind in this early laning phase. We'll have to see what Team Saltshaker can do with this small lead that they've accumulated.
I mean, 1.3k is big enough that I don't want to call it a small lead anymore.
That's true, actually.
It's in good places. No support kills, no tank top kills.
I feel like this is the part of the OGN game that Monte Cristo said that would say that this game's over. Because Koreans don't give up leads.
I don't know if Monte Cristo's ever watched much Korean League of Legends. Has anyone told him there's only one good team in Korea right now?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's one more good team than there is in America, but
yeah,
I'm convinced there are maybe 2 or 3 good teams in the entire world right now, and odds are one of them is in this league.
In the Swain Battle League?
Yes.
I
don't know which one it is yet, but it's one of them.
Oh, Develop Melk trying to gank the mid lane there. He's gonna miss the spear, and Mitsurugi will just walk back to his tower.
Painful miss on that spear, because that would have been a ton of damage laid down onto Mitsurugi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really crucial for Nidalee to try to, apply early game pressure, but you have to sort of get kills or at least assist out of this early game. Nidalee does not perform very well behind in the jungle. Mitsurugi solo kills on the wind.
Nom. And this game is gonna start going real bad for On the Wind, I think.
Oh yeah, this is not good at all. Mitsurugi already had that Chalice of Harmony, so he's gonna just build magic resist against On the Wind. So On the Wind's Echo does no damage. I'm pretty sure Splinter's a little upset he wasn't there for the assist. At least getting some gold out of it.
So one thing I'm going to want to keep my eyes on as this game goes on is how fast Team Saltshaker gets out of Lock of the Iron Solari. Because as a lot of pro players have been saying for the past month, there are a lot of times where the first team to finish that item wins. And with how much magic damage is on Thomas the Tank Engine's comp, I really hope we see it as a first or second item on Zaku.
Yep, I would imagine it should be against, but against both of these comps. Both these comps have quite a bit of magic damage, especially Thomas the Tank Engine, and that's the trend that I see. I don't know if you see that too, but it just seems globally incompetitive that all these comps are just a little more magic heavy than in previous eras.
I think that's just how all the power picks are playing out right now. Just a lot of the strongest picks, magic damage.
Yep.
And fortunately for me, that's keeping Corki away from being the tier 180 carry. Because 80 carries that don't right click aren't real 80 carries.
So On the Wind, he was looking for a rotation down in the bottom lane, but it was very heavily warded. Some good early river warding from Million Babies.
Yeah, I like the thought out of On the Wind. He's very far behind. Can't expect to really do a whole lot 1v1. Go for the high approach and just try to win one of your other lanes.
Yep.
Because if you can get your star 80 carry ahead, this could be a very different game very fast.
Yes, totally. That's definitely the right choice. There's no sense being in the losing lane. Ooh, Lock him down gets pretty low up there against Scotchernut Shen.
And he's actually opting to stick around. That's interesting. And On the Wind taking a ton of creep damage, but actually scares Mitsurugi out of the wave.
Milk gonna try to pick up Scuttle Crab early on here, try to get that river control. Master Splinter, though, he's coming back into Summoner's Rift with a Devourer at 9 minutes, so he's gonna try to stack this up as fast as possible.
I mean, this has to be the perfect game for Master Splinter, right? All of his lanes are winning. He can just tell them to ward up and power farm.
Yep. And that plays to their comp strength. That's right now they're sitting in such a good spot. As long as they don't lose this lead, as long as Thomas the Tank Engine doesn't find it in, gets these picks. On the Wind, Milk invading the enemy jungle though. Splinter sees this though. He's sitting in the bush. He's trying to deal the damage to On the Wind and Develop Milk. Master Splinter has to use the ultimate on him. Scotchernut has the Shen ult coming in, and On the Wind gets completely blown up. Mitsurugi on a killing spree, and they totally saw that coming and countered it perfectly. Oh, the fight keeps going. Million Babies is thrown in by Kindhosen. The Solar Flare is going to lock up Salvo perfectly. Zaku with the Monsoon disengage. Let's see if they can pick this up. Zenith Blade hits. Kindhosen has the Ren stacks. One more hit for Zaku. He gets the kill with the Q. 6-0 Team Saltshaker. And a dragon on top.
So remember when I talked about how I was really worried about Thomas the Tank Engine shot calling? That is doubly true now that they are so far behind so early. And Salvo gonna just get an easy dive, kill going onto a Million Babies. But when you're this far behind, it's hard enough to shot call if you're a main shot caller for your team. But when you're kind of a substitute shot caller, I mean, these comps could very well be completely blank for Thomas the Tank Engine right now. And when that happens in a competitive game, you are almost always going to lose.
Yep. Oh man, so at the end of the day, 7-0 for Team Saltshaker, accumulating almost a 4K gold lead. They secured that first dragon, a tower apiece, and Salvo's on the back foot there. The waves push to that tier 2, so maybe he'll try to freeze it here. Just try to farm this one out. And Milk gonna pick up the kill on Master Splinter. I totally missed that.
Yeah. I'm looking to see if Master Splinter's ult was up. And yeah, his ult came up just before that engage happens. I think he was just getting cocky
Oh yeah,
and didn't think
yep,
Develop could blow him up there.
yep. I rewound and watched it. Yeah, he just kept doing the blue buff, and he leashed it back into the bush. But when he did that, it left him open to take a spear straight to the face, and wanted to hold his ult. Yeah, just a little greedy out of Master Splinter. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's anything big. Nothing they have to worry about. On the win,
No,
gonna dodge
shouldn't
a
be.
quick Zenith Blade there.
And Master Splinter must have crashed there because that's the only thing that could possibly explain what happened, right?
Mm, I've seen the greed.
Nope, it's Mitsurugi. Wes, if you're listening, this is your chance. You can quick close out of the game. We'll believe it happens.
Okay, so pause coming in here.
So this might be a few minutes, I have a feeling. So I was really hoping if we had a long pause, we'd have a closer game because those are a little easier to talk about.
Yeah. I don't see how Thomas the Tank Engine's comp gets back into this. As long as Saltshaker keeps warding up like they're doing, and they can basically just control Dragon for free, they'll win every 5v5 fight. And and you also have Skasha split pushing on Shen.
They will not hesitate to pick a 5v5 fight.
Yeah, pretty much exactly. Saltshaker's team comp allows them to pretty much do everything. They can play the 1-4 split push game. They can do the 5v5 fights if they want. Yeah, it's going to be quite a hill here for Thomas the Dank Engine.
So, and we've still got more than 3 minutes till Dragon. If Thomas the Dank Engine contests this next Dragon, I think they lose this game 100%. They need to have the macro preparation to just know not to go for the second Dragon. They're only going to get back into this game if this goes late, and they can make a comeback happen that way. And I hope they don't fall into the solo queue trap of thinking if there's an objective, we have to contest it.
Yeah, I agree. I think trying to contest the Dragon would be a lost cause, and if they overcommit, they'll just lose the game flat out.
And that's something you see in almost every solo queue game. It's just your team can be so far down, you haven't won any sort of skirmish, and then you'll see 8 summoners get blown to try to contest a second Dragon.
Yeah, man, you gotta show off your lead skills, man. You gotta outplay the enemy. That's what solo queue is all about. Alright, pause is over. Back into the game here. Saltshaker, 3 men in the mid lane trying to siege down that mid tower. They got the tier 1 in the bottom lane. They rotated over to the mid. Just methodically work the map here, take the towers down one by one. They have a very good comp for it. They have Callista and Kale to try to bring those towers down and a beefy front line to protect them. Yeah, and they're doing the 1-4 right now. Scotchnaut has Shen ult in less than 3 seconds. Nothing can really go wrong here as long as they play this one right. But Mitsurugi keeps getting hit by these spears. Milk kind of on point right now with the spears.
And that's going to help slow this game up a bit, which is exactly what Dank Engine needs.
And while this is happening, Salvo gets solo lane XP and farm while he pushes that huge wave down bot. On the win, trying to fight Million Babies on the side, and Saltshaker, the wave's pretty much dead, so they can't really get too much more damage down on this tower.
And Salvo's about to push that wave into the tower bot lane. He's Jinx. He's going to be able to take that.
Oh, on the win, lands a W and goes in on the Master Splitter. Master Splitter pops his ult. Good solar flare coming out of Million Babies, and on the win's the first casualty in the mid fight here. Only 2 members for Thomas Dankin trying to defend this tower, but Million Babies, he's going to take a tower shot and go down. Saku's going to pick up that kill. Oh, the rocket barely missing there. And they're going to keep going. Kaino's in trying to get some more tower damage.
I have no idea what the call was there. What were they saying to themselves? We have to engage so they can't go and stop Salvo from pushing tower? Because Salvo was already under the tower. Salvo should have been communicating, it's too late, I've secured this tower and I'm out.
Yeah.
No matter what they do. Because they were all still in the mid lane. But On the Wing just committed really hard to that, and I think they could have traded bot tower for nothing if they had played that out better.
Yeah, the call should have been, hey, just wave clear mid. I'm going to get tier 1 bot, I will recall. Just, if you can wave clear for one more wave, I will be there. And then, yeah, you're right, they save mid tower. But it's still not the worst. They only lose 1, I think, and they trade tier 1 towers, though. Mid tower is a little more valuable in my mind.
Yeah, mid tower a little more valuable, but at least the gold ratio is a little closer than it was 2 minutes ago. And more importantly, Salvo got a lot of free farming XP to try and catch up to Kainos.
Yep, he has that Infinity Edge, so he's obviously going to hit a bigger power spike right now in the immediate compared to Callista, who Kainos went early. Zerker Greaves has a BF and the recurve bow, so I don't know. He's not really committing to the Runeans first, or he's not really committed to the Bloodthirster. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, he started with the recurve bow, and I'm wondering if somebody on his team told him that he hasn't been playing for a while, but no one rushes the Runean Hurricane anymore. So
Yeah.
he said, oh, okay, I'll go Bloodthirster then.
Oh
But,
man,
ooh,
Zaku
man.
and On the Wind are totally out of position. Babies and Kainos and had the flank here. On the Wind's gonna get down, and he's gonna get destroyed by Mitsurugi. Same with Zaku. So just some really bad mispositioning there. The teleport still comes in. Lock him down. Didn't cancel the teleport. He teleports into the back line of Team Soulshake. He has a flash over the wall. I don't think that's gonna be enough. The Ignite
the
will
Raptors.
secure the kill. Melk barely gets out, and Salvo gets hit by the Rupture. Feral Scream on top of it, and they're gonna dive. That's his tower. Scotchonaut, last frame, pixel perfect taunt, and Scotchonaut actually gets out. No members lost for Team Soulshaker at the end of the day, and this game is completely blown away. 12-2.
So, what? Thomas the Dank Engine. Sit down, grab a glass of water, we need to talk. 2 minutes ago, you were just sitting there and wave clearing and stalling out, and it was kind of nice, it was going well. You weren't the easiest comp to push on, you were getting some poke off, discouraging the blue team from diving you. Why the hell are you now fighting over Vision in the opposing red jungle?
I don't know. Did they not see the duo bot of Soulshaker down bot?
Sauce. I don't know. But man, that Mitsurugi damage. 6, 0, and 4. And is there anything scarier than a Cho'Gath that's ahead? Because I don't think there's much.
No, I mean, you can't
That's-
kill Mitsurugi right now. He's too tanky.
And he
Cho'Gath
can
has
unreveal
too
you.
much
If you're
innate
knocked up, you're
resistance.
dead. On the Winds, you're knocked up, you're dead.
$7K gold lead for Soulshaker right now. They're up a tower. They have all the advantage in the world. 2 dragons here. This is only 17 minutes into the game, folks.
Yeah, this is the kind of game where you call for a Baron and then go, oh, just kidding, it hasn't spawned yet.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. And lock him down. He was still in the top lane, trying to rotate down into his own red jungle, but he should know that his red jungle is not actually his red jungle. His flash is down here, and so he'll righteous glory into his death. Another kill picked up for Kainos, and 503 on this Callista. Mitsurugi 605. You have the people you don't want fed. And all while this is happening, Master Splinter is just sort of peacefully farming his developer.
Does it transform at 25 or 30 stats?
30.
Okay, so he's 6 away from that. They're going to trade a less valuable top for a more valuable mid, and this is actually might turn into a little bit of a base race, but Dank Engine has a Jinx. I don't know why they're backing off. They have a Jinx. I think that was their chance to make something crazy happen.
Ooh, I don't know. Soulshaker actually made a mistake here. They had 2 people recall right now, and you have the entire team, 5 men, coming at the three of Soulshaker right now. So they're actually kind of cornered. Let's see if they can make something happen here. Zaku out in front. Oh, 3-man Howling Gale to start this fight off, though. Scouchonaut's going to taunt onto Milk. Salvo in the backline trying to lay down the damage. Kaidozen is so incredibly low right now. The Shin'O comes in. Kaidozen's on a rampage. He's still kiting for days, but he'll finally go down. Salvo's gonna get the reset and get excited. The exhaust goes down on Scotchernot, and he'll surely lose his life here as long as they can catch him. Scotchernot's still up. Oh my god, what a boss. He just tanked that whole fight, but at the end of the day, still a win for Thomas the Tank Engine, 1 for 3.
But they're losing a ton of pressure in both of their other lanes for it.
Yep, Master Splinter probably saw that was a lost fight, and he went to the bottom lane and pushed it in, getting the pressure down to the tier 2. Michirugi with a good rotation to meet him in that bot lane with that wave.
Tank Engine's going to be a little slow to get to this tower. Master Splinter's a kill. He's going to put a lot of damage down onto it.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a half-health tower.
Oh.
The final remaining inner.
Yeah, there's... Oh, yeah. Looks like Tank Engine wanted to chase there, but make the smart call. Just clear the wave. Don't try to chase the kill in a Cho'Gath. Blue buff is up for Thomas the Tank Engine, but this is not safe at all. Oh, Rupture missing. So close there. Michirugi playing with vision, trying to get the pick, and I think Tank Engine has to give this blue buff up. Rupture lands out on Zaku. Both teams are sort of lost on what to do right now. Master Splinter's caught out, gets Twisted Advance. He has to pop the ultimate on himself. Tank Engine overcommits and they go straight for Splinter. He will go down, but Kaino's in the backline. Free damage, free DPS, double kill for him. Lock him down will surely go down. A triple kill for Kainos, and On the Wind was still alive for some reason. He uses his ultimate to try to run away. And that's 4 members gone. On the Wind flashes the Rupture. And I think he's gonna get out. He's Echo, but they should not have fought for that blue buff.
That was just... Master Splinter was channeling his inner Thrifty Senpai in that fight. When you don't know what to do, sometimes you gotta just put yourself in the middle of the entire enemy team so you can just send their entire team into disarray and be like, hey guys, they blew everything on me, I ulted, just mop up, can you? You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is this a 10... 11k gold lead?
at 21:45?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So let's look at the positives. If I'm on Thomas the Tank Engine right now, what am I saying to my team? Guys, Team Liquid basically threw this same lead. Unfortunately, I don't think Thomas the Tank Engine is Team Impulse.
Nope. I don't think they resemble anything close to Team Impulse there. Lock him down. Just trying to push out the wave. He will get punished for it. Milk will run away. Oh, why they're committing on Master Splinter right now. They don't have vision of the entire enemy team, and Salvo is caught in a really hard place right now. Oh, Master Splinter with the flash lays on the Q, but Salvo with the counter flash on top of him. Master Splinter will ult himself to try to survive here. Zaku with a very good monsoon to disengage, but he will sacrifice his life to save his team members. Scotchernot's gonna miss the taunt. Million Baby's gonna miss the knock-up on the Callista throw. Milk will go down though, and On the Wind will go down as well. 24-6 right now for Team Soul Shaker. This might be a double inhibitor push here.
Yeah, it should be. Salvo's nowhere near this base. Lock him down is not very intimidating. Lock him down has Ninja Tabby. That's
well,
not good.
No, it's not. And it's one thing to get the early Ninja Tabby because it's cheaper to get the home guards early, but I mean, sometimes you gotta look at the enemy team's composition.
I do not think the early home guard flank was something that this team was thinking about either.
Nope. Yeah, and then
I'm
when
just
you
gonna
when
throw
you're
that out there.
behind like that, I don't know if you're in a position really to sort of bank on good home guard teleports there.
Oh, but
Look at
Salvo
this
is
cheese
in a
coming
lot of
out
danger.
of Salt Shaker, sitting in the Wraith bush. Lock him down. Will go down here. He might just close us back in the lane. I know lock him down. He's a very positive player. He's probably just having fun right now.
I'm gonna propose a different theory. I know lock him down. He tilts very hard. I
Really?
don't think he's talked in the last 10 minutes.
Oh man. Damn. He
But
seems so friendly and nice.
he's a very nice guy. But this is the difference between being a nice guy and a nice player. And lock him down gonna at least require a flash to go down. But this is a second inhibitor.
It's okay, guys. Kalista used flash.
Oh man.
Oh, 11, 1, and 8, Kainosen. 9-0-10, Michirugi. What a sub player. This guy is this year's Manlord of the Miracle so far.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing is that these two are carrying from roles they wouldn't normally be playing.
hmm
And
Shows the versatility of Kainosen and shows how good Salt Shaker's bench player is.
do you think every team is really just beating themselves up over that 25-cent Kainosen pick right now? Because I'm sure
I hope so.
Medicus hadn't drafted me and drafted him instead.
Yep, I really hope so. I want people to feel bad. And that will be
One
the game,
ace
folks.
For good measure. That was a good old-fashioned American stomp.
Yep, 25 minutes, fastest game of the season so far. That
And there
game,
was never a single point in that game where anything that Thomas the Tank Engine was doing looked good.
no, yeah, I agree. They got behind early and they didn't make the right decisions to even put themselves in a position to get back into the game. They just sort of threw themselves mindlessly at the enemy team, and hopefully they were thinking hopefully something will stick, and it did not.
So I think we're going to try to pull Kindhosen in here real fast for an interview in a moment.
Yeah.
If there were an administrator in this channel that could do it. And I asked Kindhosen interview, and he said if that's what the people want. So I'm going to speak for the people and say that's what they want, because Kindhosen, you just carried
User
like a
was moved to your
motherfucker.
channel.
Speaking of Kindhosen, that's what the people want. You just carried like a motherfucker.
Hello.
Wow.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It was a fun game.
So I don't even know where to start. 25 cents. Is that like a meme with your team? Because it should be.
Yeah.
I think everyone is pretty shocked about that. I was obviously hoping to go for more, but I think people are going to be kicking themselves after the season, and I showed what I can actually do.
I mean, I already knew what you could do. People, I don't know. Well, let's not talk about that. But
Yeah.
when did you know before this match? Did you know like a while ahead that King was going to be not present?
Yeah, it was on the stat sheet thing, I think, that he was going to be gone for 2 weeks, so we kind of just planned that when King was gone, I was going to switch to AD carry, and Mitch was going to go mid, just because that's like where we usually go anyway, so.
So last week, King and a Million Babies struggle a little bit in bot lane. This week, you come in, you play a pretty good game of ADC. Mitch plays a pretty good game in the mid lane. Are we going to see a starting roster controversy?
I don't know, Splinter was joking just a second ago that King's going to have to step his game up, but...
I mean, he hasn't even made it out of silver yet this season. You're gold 1.
I don't know. If you look at Mitch's score, though, that's kind of inflated because he's a KSing whore, so...
I was referring to Mr. King, but...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's kind of a toss-up right now, so...
Was the composition planned? Was it? I mean, it. Yeah.
That one was a little bit more impromptu as last time. I mean, we all have the champions that we like to go to, and we kind of know generally what our team likes to play. So in Champ Select, we kind of build around like what we want and what they're picking. So that one was a little bit more impromptu than last time.
All
So,
right.
got any more?
I think that just about does it. So congratulations, 2-0. You guys are. Obviously the best possible start to the season. You guys are looking very hot.
Yeah, hopefully you'll see a lot more out of us.
Hopefully not. I hope this was the peak and it's all downhill from there.
Yeah. What week
And
do we play your team?
Guerrilla Radio goes on a tear that begins tonight.
All right.
All right, congratulations.
All right. Thanks for
All
the
right,
interview,
thanks.
man. And we are going to take a quick 3-minute stream delay. We will be back momentarily with game 2, which is going to be WCF versus Shark Bait Hoo Ha Ha. So, as Rivington would say, don't touch that browser.